And while Biden turns national security against American citizens, he's let the border become a national security nightmare. This month alone, CBP is on track to take in a record 16,000 migrant youths, and they're all in custody. But have no fear, because today Biden announced he was foisting this job onto Vice President Kamala Harris, the same person who, in a fit of political expediency, said something a little disturbing a few years ago.
We would not put children in cages.
It's a human rights abuse being committed by the United States government. We are not going to allow this to happen, not on our watch.
I saw children lined up single file based on gender, being walked into barracks. These children have not committed crimes and should be not treated like criminals.
She's criticizing her own administration back then. Joining me now, Newt Gingrich, former House Speaker, Fox News contributor. Newt, is that kind of the kiss of death, giving the vice president the job of fixing the border, when given her past comments about the way the border was enforced?
Well, first of all, it's very clever of Biden on the eve of his press conference to turn it over to her. So every question tomorrow about the border, he can say, you know, that's Vice President Harris's job. You need to talk to her about it. Next question. In that sense, he managed just to duck all responsibility for what is not a crisis, it's a disaster, and it's getting worse. 92% of Hispanic Americans want every person who comes into this country tested for COVID. 90% overall of all Americans want them tested for COVID. There's no possibility that this administration will do that. And I think what will happen is Vice President Harris, who's a very good politician, will presently explain how wonderful things are, how really cool they are. No, we're not going to let the news media go down, but trust me, it's okay. And she'll go on to something else. I think that, you know, her future is not dependent on what happens on the border. Her future is dependent on what happens in the White House with President Biden.
Hey, Newt, breaking late tonight, the Pentagon announced that they're approving an HHS request to temporarily house unaccompanied migrant children at vacant dormitories at Joint Base San Antonio and Laughlin, Texas, and providing an area of land in Fort Bliss to construct a suitable temporary housing facility. Newt, why the heck is our military getting involved in this? We have a lot of homeless people living in tents in D.C. tonight.
If you're not going to build the wall, you're going to build a heck of a lot of dormitories. That's a very simple equation. They are presently going to drown in people who come north. And every time there's a TV story about this, more people come north. And they're not all from Central America. We're finding people from Africa, from China, from India, from Turkey. There's a continuing wave coming to the U.S. This is essentially a peaceful invasion by a huge number of people. By this summer, it may well be over 1 million people. The Biden administration won't be able to handle it. This whole thing is just going to fall apart. But what they will do is what they've been doing all along. They'll just lie.
Newt, are we to believe that this is not going to affect the poorest Americans the most? This influx of mostly poor and obviously non-English speaking migrants into the United States?
Well, first of all, and this is why support for testing for COVID is higher among Hispanics than among all Americans, the first people going to be affected are relatively poor people who are going to have infected people who have not been tested, have not been tracked, do not have medical help, showing up in their neighborhoods. We go through all of these things at the airport. We go through all of these tests at the airport. And then we have a policy under Biden that allows people to come in here. Second, you're exactly right. The poorest Americans will have their wages suppressed by this competition. And third, every taxpayer is going to get hit. We're going to provide shelter, food. We're going to provide education. Then we're going to provide health care. We're taking on here billions and billions of dollars of additional cost.
And 42 million apparently want to come. That's the latest Gallup survey on how many people want to come to the United States. I guess we're not so systemically racist after all. Newt, thank you. Great to see you.